Shout out to the chat. Shout out to these YouTube streets. This is your homegirl, Arabia Barbosa, number 4, Westchester County, New York. We are definitely in the house. We are definitely in the motherfucking building. Shout out to the chat. Yo. What is this video going to be about? You can see the title. The title is a chini. A chini. It's a Swahili term. It means to sit down. That's what it means. Chini. Say it with me, children. Chini. And you know what I like about Swahili? The way it is written and the way that it appears, that's the way you say the words. That is the way you say the words. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Or maybe my title should have been Tiptoe Through the Tulips. Tiptoe Through the Garden. Good morning. I know it's early, but this is what I usually do. I usually go early around this time in the morning. And I want to touch on something that I heard yesterday while Just Jay was live doing her video. Shout out to Just Jay. Shout out to everyone that I know. My subscribers, my moderators, my support team, my YouTube creators. Yo, shout out. And she started talking about a situation where there was homeless people involved. Now, when I use the word homeless, that's a key word for me. That is a key word for me because that's what I was a couple of years ago. Shout out to the chat. And it could happen again. It could happen again. But would I be able to deal with it as I dealt with it in the fucking past? I don't think I would be able to. I mean, it's something. But I'm going to tell you about when I was in New York and when I became homeless and what I did. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the motherfucking chat. Shout out to the YouTube streets. And I remember specifically, and this is what I did a couple of years ago, being in New York. I was in New York. I became homeless. And you would think, okay, you give up. It's hopeless. I'm done. It's over. Shout out to the chat. But it's not over. Because New York got some programs in place for the homeless. That's why I don't understand why the homeless population is as large as it is. A shout out to the chat. There is a thing called the Department of Social Services. Most cities have a Department of Social Service office. And when you go there, the categories that you're going to be faced with. Number one, you want to get your food stamps, your SNAP benefits. Shout out to the chat. You're going to want to get that. And in most cases, they will expedite your food stamps. They will tell you have to fill out the application. You have to complete the application. You have to sign it. You have to date it. And then you turn it in to the representative that's working at the desk. And they will then hand it off to whoever handles the food stamp program in the Department of Social Services. And usually they will call you into their office and interview you further. Shout out to the chat. They will ask you certain questions. They will go on the computer and insert your information or find out information about you. Because once you give them your name, your birth date, your social security number, certain things are going to pop up. Certain things are going to show. Shout out to the chat. I'm going to tell you what happened to me. When I went to apply for food stamps, this was a couple of years ago. This had to been what? 2005. Because I left from South Carolina and I went back to New York. I left from South Carolina. I had an apartment in Greenville, South Carolina. I had me a full-time job. But I decided on a whim, on an impulse, to leave. Because you got to remember, I discovered that I had my biological family in 2003. I was 30 years old. So by the time I left South Carolina, Greenville, South Carolina, and went back to New York, I was 32 years old. I was 32. I was short a few months of turning 33 years old. Shout out to the chat. And I went into the office because they wanted to interview me to get my food stamp benefits expedited. But something showed up on the computer. Something showed up that I had no idea that it was there. Obviously, the woman that raised me, she put one of her brother's houses. They took out a mortgage in my name. Let me put it like that. They took a mortgage out in my fucking name. Shout out to the chat. And this woman didn't inform me that she did this. And I had to explain to the people at the DSS office what kind of woman this was. Then I explained to them that I was a part of their 4-year system when I was younger. This is why that bullshit happened. They said, don't worry about it, Arabia. We understand. So I was told I would receive my food stamp benefits. They would expedite my food stamp benefits. Shout out to the chat. Remember now, this happened in 2005. 2005. Good morning. Thank you for coming in. We got 2 in the building. Thank you for coming in. Shout out to the chat. So after that, I left out of the office. I went to sit back in the lobby. They had to assign me to a shelter. So they informed me that I would be going to Valhalla, New York. They gave me a bus ticket. They said, here, you're going to go to Valhalla, New York, and you're going to get on a such and such a bus. It's going to take you over there to the West Chester County Jail. You get off the bus. You're going to bus a right and you're going to keep going. You're going to run into the shelter. The shelter was under Volunteers of America. Shout out to the chat. So I stayed in the shelter. I went in. I stayed at that shelter for a couple of months. But when you first come in, you give them your name, your information, who your case manager is at the DSS office. You let them know, hey, I'm getting ready to get my food stamps, X, Y, and Z. Because when you get your food stamps, a lot of people don't know this. If you live in the state of New York, when you get your food stamps, depending on what kind of case you got, you also get cash assistance. A lot of people don't know that. See, they don't do that in South Carolina, which is very frustrating to me, because how you going to give people food stamps? You know they don't have no job. You know they don't get no Social Security, disability benefits, nothing. And these people don't qualify for cash assistance. That means that someone is pocketing that money in the state of South Carolina. South Carolina is a dirty state to live in. Shout out to the chat. I should know. I've been here for over 10 years. Even before that, I was here for a little while. I never liked South Carolina. I never liked South Carolinians. I never did. Shout out to the chat. And there's a reason for everything. But let's continue on with the story. So I stayed at the big shelter in Valhalla, New York. Now, you could take the T bus, the X bus, the 1C bus, or the 40 bus that goes there. It will drop you off in that facility. You just basically walk down here to the big shelter. You're going to be assigned to a room. Sometimes it might be a 2-man room, a 4-man room, a 6-man room. Shout out to the chat. But the shelter is never overcrowded. Good morning, Just Jay. Thank you for coming in. Uncle L, thank you for coming in. Good morning. The shelter in Valhalla, New York is never overcrowded. Sex offenders live on the second floor. Everyone else, the rest of the general population, lives on the third floor. You take the elevator. When you go there, you will have to take your clothes and put them in the dryer and put them on high heat. Then, if you choose to, you can wash your clothes, whatever the case may be. You go get your bed linen, your towel, your washcloth. They're going to give you soap. They're going to give you toothpaste. Oh, yes. They're going to feed you 3 times a day, and the meals are excellent. From breakfast, lunch, dinner. The meals are excellent. Shout out to the chat. They got a professional chef working in the kitchen. Yes, this is a homeless shelter I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. And the next day, what happens is you go down to see the doctor, because now they got to give you a physical exam. They got to take certain tests from you. They got to perform different things on you in order to find out if you're healthy or not. Then they ask you questions. You're going to see a social worker. She's going to ask you questions to see if you need to go into some type of outpatient treatment. Shout out to the chat. And usually when you go to treatment, it's for mental health and it's for drug addiction, or alcohol addiction. In my case, I was going down for mental health and alcohol addiction. Shout out to the chat, because I have been struggling with alcohol addiction ever since I was a young child. I started early. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. I started early. Haven't bought me anything recently, but I started early. Shout out to the chat. If I feel like it, I'll do it again. But I already know there's certain things I cannot drink. I know I can't, even though I loved it. I love to drink the 211. I know I cannot drink the 211 because the 211 beer reserve does not agree with my spirit. It does not agree with my spirit. And if you don't believe me, ask the people on the YouTubes. Ask them. Shout out to the chat. I remember one day I drank so much of the 211. I had like 340 ounces of 211 reserve up in this house. I would drink. The beer was gone before the 2 hour mark. And the next thing you know, I was singing. I was hitting panels. I was slurring my words. I was giggling. People was getting cursed out. There have been a few other instances that has happened to me on the YouTubes for drinking the 211, which caused some people on the YouTubes to dial 911. Shout out to the chat. It doesn't agree with my spirit. Shout out to the chat. If I want to drink something, I want to drink something that's going to agree with my spirit. Not to make me depressed, not to make me cry, not to make me scream and shout at people that didn't do anything to me. Shout out to the chat. Now you can imagine my relationship with Birdman, because it was very versatile. It was very toxic. He was good to me. I was good to him, but we had our moments. Yes. Shout out to the chat. And I was not very nice. So, okay. I got off a subject. I cut off my own wisdom to talk about my drinking habits from the past. Shout out to the chat. Do they separate the men and the women? Yes, Just Jay. They separate. No, Just Jay. Let me tell you something. Just imagine you're in New York, right? You're homeless, right? And you got your boyfriend. Okay, you're not gonna. Well, you got your boyfriend or you got your husband, right? Now, if that's just your boyfriend, yes, they will separate the men and the women. Now, if that's your husband, you're gonna be in the room with your husband. Oh yes, in the state of New York, yeah, they do that. They try to house families together. It's not easy, but they try. They try to do it. And the shelter was just so big. The shelter was just so big. I was there for a few months. And while I was there, I was attending outpatient program in Harrison, New York. And the only reason why I was attending Harrison, New York is because when I was going to outpatient treatment in New Rochelle, New York, it was an issue. It was an issue between me and staff. You know what I mean? I couldn't get along with them and they couldn't get along with me. And my father kept coming. My father kept showing up over there because my biological father he when he found out that I was attending treatment, he would make it his business to put on his Sunday best, so to speak, and go down and speak with the staff. And once they found out who my father was, that's when they was like, we don't really want to treat her. Yeah. Because my father, if I think I shared like pictures of him on my short videos. Y'all will see him. He's the young man with the goatee. He's the young man with the hat on the ball. Because there's a short video where I show who my father is. Shout out to him. Rest in peace, Daddy. Even though he wasn't much of a father, but when we did meet each other, he did, he was nice to me. He was good to me. You know what I mean? I just had the problem with him. I started picking with him. My father, he was something. How did I cut my wisdom? Anyway. Shout out to the chat. We got 4 in the building. We got 1 like. Shout out to the chat. But anyway, I stayed in the shelter in Valhalla, New York, for a couple of months. Then they moved me to a transitional halfway house in Yonkers, New York. Yeah, they moved me there. I was living on North Broadway for a little while. My sister lived at the Whitney Young. And before all this, I used to live at the YWCA right there on South Broadway. Yeah. And the only reason, and I left from there to live with my sister. And then I left from my sister and went to the shelter system. Shout out to the chat. She was very helpful towards me and to me transitioning, into the homeless population. But we did it the right way. She didn't say, oh, you gotta get out. Here your stuff. No, she wrote the letter. And she had to write the letter as if she was the woman that had raised me. Like, okay, she wrote down the address. Yeah, she wrote down, she signed it, that woman's name. Yeah, she wrote a whole letter. Shout out to the chat. She handed the letter to me. I took it to DSS. They took it for face value. Shout out to the chat. They didn't have to call no number, nothing. Shout out to the chat. Anyway, after that, after I went to transitional housing, my sister got pregnant. My sister had a baby, a little girl. Around that same time, my biological father got sick and he died. He went to hospice. I was there with him for a little while. I was there. See, the man that didn't do anything for me when I was little, when I really needed him, I was there for him as he was transitioning out of the world. And that's how I believe the people that did me wrong when I was young, either 2 things going to happen to you. 1, I'm going to be standing over you while you're transitioning to take a dirt nap. Or 2, you're going to get real skinny and small and you're going to wither away. Shout out to the chat. You're going to be a skeleton before you leave this earth. You fuck with me. And I don't do it to you. The universe does. Yeah. That woman that mistreated me when I was grown up, my brother sent me a picture of her before she died. I didn't even recognize her. I ain't even recognize. I looked at the picture, I said, that's what she get. But she was messy in life, and she's messy in death. Same kind of messiness. Same kind of hatefulness. Shout out to the chat. So we got 4 in the building. We got 3 likes. Shout out to everyone that's in the chat. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Just Jay, Uncle L, and whoever's sitting in the bushes. Shout out to you. Good morning to you. I'm talking about when I was homeless and what I did. You know what I mean? Even when I was down here in South Carolina and I was home, I was actually on the streets for 4 years because the state of South Carolina doesn't have a homeless program or homeless prevention program in place. They don't have one. They say they have one. It's on paper that they have one, but they don't have one. Shout out to the chat. And that's the reality. That's real. They don't have no sleep sites down here, nothing. So once you go out into the streets, you're on your own. You're on your own. Or until you partner up with someone. Until you partner up with either another woman or another man. And if you in my case, if I partner up with another woman, we're going to be dating each other. There ain't going to be no, this is my friend. No, this is my bitch. This is my wifey. We traveling together. But I'm going to tell y'all something about that. And this is the funny part about it. Once you partner with a woman, right? And y'all homeless together, right? And let's say y'all go to motels together, hotels together, and y'all end up getting housing. You don't get housing together. It's going to be 2 different programs, 2 different things going on. Shout out to the chat. And y'all going to get separated. The love of your life, how you was eating the pussy and smacking the pussy and getting on. In some cases, you might be lucky. She might come to your house. She might fix you breakfast. She might do some errands for you. But after a while, she disappears. Why? Because usually she finds a man to be with. She was just with you for a short season, but you learned something within that season. Shout out to the chat. Now, if the woman is not homeless and she got her own place, she's a little more stable, you might have a chance at a long-term relationship with a woman, a real woman. Because they're going to want to talk to you. They're going to want to have conversation. They're going to want to fix breakfast for you. They're going to want to cook for you. They're going to want to clean for you. They're going to want to take your clothes to the laundry for you so you don't have to do it. If you do it, that's on you. You know what I mean? A woman is the best thing to have in the whole world. You know what I mean? A man, I can leave him, I can take him. I don't necessarily want the man. I want the woman. I want the female. I want the bitch. You know what I mean? I want that. Because she's soft and squishy. The skin is so soft and the hands are so soft and the fingers. And I'm not talking about the fingers going up inside. Now, see, I got my wisdom again. I'm controlling my own self. How come y'all didn't tell me I would cut my wisdom? Good morning, Tamika. I'm here listening. Can't type good morning, everyone. Okay. All right, good morning, Tamika. Thank you for coming in. Shout out to you. It's good to see you. Happy New Year to everyone that's in the chat. Happy New Year. Happy holidays. This is the last weekend of the holiday. So I went to work yesterday and I shared that on my shorts. Yeah, no, short videos. Shout out to y'all. Just Jay had went live yesterday. Moonlight had went live yesterday. EJ had went live yesterday. It was a few people that went live yesterday. Shout out to them. But I'm doing this video because I heard Just Jay say some very nice things about what she did for somebody, how she helped. I heard what she said. And I like that. I like that she helped someone else. You know what I mean? She wanted to share a video, but she couldn't share. So I decided, well, just go ahead and tell the people if they live in New York, this is what they're going to have to do to apply for housing, food stamps, cash assistance, because in South Carolina, you don't get shit. They don't even have sleep sites for the people. So the people have to sleep outside. And I think that's very irritating. And I don't mean no harm. It's kind of hard when you got to sleep outside on somebody's sidewalk or you're sleeping at the bus stop. You're not safe. Your property is not safe. So you gotta make do with what you got. Shout out to the chat. Yeah, Just Jay, you had said something that sparked my interest, and how you was, and it's a growing pandemic where families are now like when the mother and the mother mostly become homeless, the children follow. It used to be back in the day they would take the children. Yeah, them social workers would just come and just take the children. And then you'd have to deal with what you had to deal with on your own. Your children were placed somewhere. Children wasn't really homeless during the 70s and 80s. They were placed in foster care or group home or juvenile facility. Shout out to the chat. In most cases. Not in all, but in most cases. So when you said what you said about the woman and the babies, I said, oh, wait a minute. Oh, hold on now. Whoa, buddy. I wanted to wait, what? And I can't believe it, but it's a growing epidemic where people are living in their car with their families, with their children. The children go to school. They don't have anything to eat. You know what I mean? The school got to provide for them. The community has to provide for them. You know, there's certain pantries and soup kitchens you can go to. That's how I ended up in this apartment right here. Because I went to a soup kitchen and I talked to a social worker, a case manager down there. Yeah. And that's how I transitioned from off the streets. And then later on, Birdman followed me. Then Birdman ended up getting his place because he's a veteran. Because I had to keep encouraging him to keep going to the VA. Get your shit and get it together. Because you can't stay with me like that. We couldn't live together like that. It was nice for a few days, a couple of weeks. Because there was moments where I would leave from out of here and I would stay with Birdman almost a whole fucking month before I come back home. You know what I mean? Because I didn't want to live alone like the way I was. You know? Back then, I was drinking real heavy, too. So that was another reason. Shout out to the chat. We got 6 in the building. We got 5 likes. Shout out to the chat. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Shout out to the chat. Coco Tasso, that like button. Coco Tasso, the like button. Hit the like button. Shout out to the chat. Yeah. So, damn, I done cut my wisdom again. But basically, that's how I dealt with my homelessness. And that's the different programs that's in place in New York. It has not changed. South Carolina don't have a homeless program in place. They don't have a homeless prevention program. It's on paper that they do. And you would be lucky to even find a situation. See, Westchester County, and this is where when I think about brown skinned lady, because brown skinned lady is a social worker. So, but I'm gonna tell you something about Westchester County, New York. Westchester County, New York is run by social workers. Let's say that again for the people in the back. Westchester County, New York is run by social workers. You don't do anything on your own. Because if you want certain things done, you have to be down with our program, and you have to have a social worker or a psychiatrist or psychologist, some kind of doctor to speak up for you. You have to get a case manager. Your case manager is going to be a social worker. Social work, social work. Shout out to the chat. My life was run by the social workers of Westchester County, New York. Yeah, for a couple of years. If I wanted something, I had to go see a social worker. If I wanted a certain job, I had to go see a social worker in order to get things moving. Or I had to enter into a certain job training program. In my case, it was a building maintenance job training program where they gave you the basics about how to do repair. Shout out to the chat. Good morning, Juicy Fruit. Juicy Fruit. Juicy Fruit. Yeah. Juicy Fruit. Just so juicy. Juicy Fruit. Thank you for coming in. Good morning. Good morning. Happy New Year, Juicy Fruit. It's good to see you. Thank you for coming in. Shout out to you. Yeah, Juicy Fruit, I was just giving them the rundown about the homeless situation in South Carolina, New York. What's the difference between the two? How New York got more programs for the homeless population than certain other states. And they do that for a reason. Because in the state of South Carolina, if you become homeless, you're going to have a hard time finding a place on your own. Unless, like yesterday, right? I was working the job, and most of the guys I work with are usually homeless, or they usually live with someone. And once they tell me, look, Arabia, X, Y, and Z, I tell them about the rapid rehousing program. I tell them where to go to fill out the paperwork, who to call. Shout out to the chat because it's important to me. Like if you getting ready to get on a good paying job, it's a good idea to have a place of your own, a place where you can put the key in the door. You put in the key in the door, you come in, because that key, one tiny device can open up an entire house. One tiny device can open up certain doors in your life. Shout out to the chat. And you work better. You think better. You look better when you have a stable place to live. When you're out there in the world sleeping on someone's sidewalk, you take on a different look. Shout out to the chat. And my look, I was skinny. I had black lips. I looked like a spider. When I moved indoors, I gained the weight. I started looking more like a person. I looked like the way I look now is the way I look when I was like in my late 30s, early 40s. But with the weight gain, I lost some weight. But I'm not going to become a Carol Carpenter. And that's another thing, ladies and gentlemen. I don't understand how this woman went through all the shit she went through in her life and nobody said anything about her eating disorder. This woman withered away. This woman died needlessly because people wanted to get their bag. And now that she's dead, she's worth more dead than she was alive. And that's some fucked up shit. Because from what I'm understanding and what I'm reading about Karen Carpenter is that she was a sweet, nice lady. And people were just being fucked up to her. Her brother was being fucked up. The parents were being fucked up. The husband was being fucked up. Sometimes the enemy is not the people on the street corner. They're not at the grocery store. They're not on your job. They're right there in your house, in your bedroom, in your bed sheets, and in your arms. That's where the enemy is sometimes. Shout out to the chat. Be careful of the company that you keep. Be careful of the company that you keep. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Thank you, everyone. I try to talk with some kind of common sense. You know what I mean? Because I don't know if anyone knows anything about Carol Carpenter. I might do a whole video about her. I might do a whole reaction video about Karen Carpenter. Because I want people to hear the music. I want people to see the woman. I want the people to know. Because she's not the only one that died because of an eating disorder. Amy Winehouse, even though it's mentioned that Amy Winehouse was on drugs or whatever, or alcohol or whatever for a certain period of time, but before she was doing that, she was suffering from bulimia. See, when you suffer from certain eating disorders, your heart is affected. Your heart gets fucked up. Can you imagine purging? Can you imagine taking a liquid medicine, drinking it, only to go into the bathroom later on and vomit up the stuff that's in your stomach because you don't want to get fat? Can you imagine taking laxatives all night long just so you can stay skinny? Can you imagine taking certain types of thyroid medicine to speed up your metabolism because you don't want to get fat, because you don't want people to talk about you? Karen Carpenter was withering away. She looked like a skeleton before she left the earth, and people that was friends with her was afraid to say something to her. So the woman suffered in silence for years. You don't have any friends. She had all the people was her friend. Nobody opened up their fucking mouth. But when the woman died, oh, she was a beautiful woman. Oh, she was my best friend. Oh, she smiled all the time. She smiled all the time to who? Shout out to the chat. I'm cut my wisdom again, y'all. I know her story. Yup, juicy fruit, yup. Those eating disorders are tough to shake. I had a friend who had an eating disorder. It was tough. Yes. Yes, juicy fruit. My sister, one of my biological sisters, she got bulimia. She can't stand, like, okay, let's say she was to get heavy like me, it would be an issue. She would do everything in her power to go back to being thin. And she told me a long time ago, because I used to watch her go in the bathroom, and I'd be like, hey, you need to stop that. And I knew her therapist, and I would go to the therapist. They'd be like, yo, you need to talk to her, because she's doing that. She doing that bulimia stuff. She got an eating disorder. And in their mind, they feel that they ain't doing shit wrong. It's something wrong when you go in the bathroom and you make yourself throw up in the toilet. There's something wrong with you if you're taking 80 pills or 90 pills of laxatives. There's something wrong. Shout out to the chat. It's a nightmare. I met people like that when I first started going to psychiatric institutions. The first mental hospital I ever went to as a patient was William S. Hall, and it was an institution located in Columbia, South Carolina, right there on Bull Street. I don't know if it's still open or not, but that's where I went the first time when I was 17. I went for self-mutilation, and I met other people there that had eating disorders. Shout out to the chat. And they were hell on wheels. They would get very irritable. You know what I mean? And sometimes they would break down crying. They didn't understand why they had an eating disorder. It is terrible. It is hell on earth. It is hell on earth. Peace Arabia in chat. Hey, what's up, Raz? Thank you for coming in. Good morning. Peace Arabia in chat. Just getting off work. Had to stop over and speak before getting on the road. Have a great weekend, everybody. Support. Yo, shout out to Raz. Raz, get home safe. Drive safe now. You can catch the replay. Don't get in the car and start listening to me, and you can catch the replay. I understand. Thank you for coming in. Good morning. Happy holidays to you. Happy New Year. Shout out to you. Yeah, child. But I just wanted to come up real quick and give my thoughts about the homeless situation. And we got on to eating disorders. And I really wanted people to know that in the state of New York, there's help. You can get social security. You can get your food stamps turned on. You can get cash assistance. You get housing through a shelter, a transitional halfway house, a sleep site, at night. Like if you need somewhere to sleep at night, but you don't really, you like worried about it during the day because you're either working or you're going to school, or you're doing something. You know what I mean? Or you visit different gyms, or you're trying to make your appointments and you don't have a place to stay, but you need somewhere to sleep at night. They got sleep sites. At least in the city of Yonkers, New York, but you have to go through the Department of Social Services. See, in Westchester County, New York, the social workers run that county. Shout out to the chat. 914, which is a county in New York, is ruled by social workers. So shout out to brown skinned lady and the other two women that are social workers in this sector. Because brown skinned lady is a social worker. Yeah. Shout out to the chat. She used to talk about the things that she used to do, but people started criticizing her and trying to make her feel bad, say that she wasn't. But I believe brown skinned lady. I believe she was is a social worker. Shout out to the chat. And she described certain situations she found herself in working as a social worker. Because one of my aunts, she's a social worker. The woman got a master's degree, but the woman can't stand me. And it's not nothing I did. It's just that we don't see eye to eye. You know what I mean? Because they call themselves being mad at the people that raised me, but y'all had the opportunity they could have got custody of me and my brother, and they decided not to do that. They decided to pursue their college education and their careers while me and my brother rotted away in foster care. And then we got adopted out. We stayed together. We wasn't separated, but there was a possibility that could have happened too. Shout out to the chat. Because they don't keep families together. Foster care, group home, situation in juvenile detention centers basically is set up just like the way slavery was set up, to separate families, to destroy families. Shout out to the chat. What's up, Mika? Good morning, Mika. Happy New Year. Thank you for coming in. It's good to see you. Yep, shout out to the chat. So I was talking about the homeless situation, and how South Carolina don't have certain programs. Certain states don't have certain programs because what they're hoping in the state of South Carolina and these other states that don't have anything for the homeless population, they're hoping that you will commit a crime. They're hoping that you will go in front of a judge, and they're hoping to put you away in a institution for a couple of years. That's why those other states don't have homeless prevention programs or any kind of homeless program, because their homeless program is the state penitentiary. That's what it is. They want you to be an inmate. Trust me, I fucking know. Inmate number 221644. I did 6 years, 7 months. My charge was strong arm robbery. I went in front of Judge Schuler. Judge Schuler was my judge. Judge Schuler sentenced me to 8 years in the South Carolina Department of Corrections. I did 6 years, 7 months. I did 3 years and 9 months on someone's SHIELD program because I became a danger to myself and to others. Shout out to the chat. I had untreated mental health going on. Shout out to the chat. When you go there, they don't give you any kind of mental health treatment. You don't get any kind of real medical treatment. Forget about seeing a dentist and getting any real dental stuff going on for yourself. Shout out to the chat. You might work a job while you're in there. I can talk about prison all day. But people don't have all day. Today is Saturday. People got things to do. They got other videos to visit today. So whoever's not here, hopefully you'll catch the replay. Shout out to you. Happy New Year. Happy holidays. Shout out to you. I love you. I thank you for your support. I thank you. I appreciate you coming, visiting my channel. You could have been anywhere else, but you decided to come over here with me. Shout out to you, and I appreciate you. No walking to work today, Mika. I'm off today. Today is Saturday. Yesterday I went to work. I've been on a repeat ticket lately, Mika. And I've been taking the bus. So I don't have to walk downtown right now. But thank you for asking me, Mika. Yo, shout out to my walk team. Shout out to the people that are part of my morning chat walk team. Shout out to them because you guys rocked out with me every fucking morning. Yes. Every time I walk downtown, you guys were with me. Yes. Remember that coyote, Mika? You didn't see it on camera, but I saw it. It was me. It was Mika. It was Uncle L. And Simset. Simset was in the he was in the chat because he was asking me questions. Yeah. I don't know if Not Worth It was there that morning. I don't know if G Mama was there that morning. But I remember Mika being there. Shout out to the chat. So I guess this is it, you guys. I'm getting ready to close out this video, but closing out my thoughts or the conversation. Not closing out my thoughts or my conversation. Shout out to the chat. I hope everyone has an awesome day today. I hope everyone has an awesome weekend. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart, from the deepest part of my heart for coming into the chat. Thank you. I tried to stick on subject, but I couldn't stick on subject. I kept cutting my own damn wisdom. Hey, what's up, Soulfly? Soulfly is a nice lady. Soulfly. Yo, what's up, Soulfly? Shout out to Soulfly. Yo, shout out to all the YouTube creators that is in my chat right now. A happy holidays, Soulfly. Happy New Year. Oh, Soulfly, you love me. I love you too. I love you. I love you. From the bottom of my heart. From the depths of my soul. I love you. I really do. Shout out to Soulfly. A nice, sweet lady. Shout out to the chat. Yeah, we got a good chat this morning. I'm just letting everybody speak to each other for a little while. I see Soulfly speaking to a few people in the chat. Uncle L is still here. Mika's here. Juicy Fruit is here. Yes. We got Just Jay. And we got people sitting in the bushes. Yes. Shout out to the chat. Closing out this video, everyone. Thank you for coming over. Good morning. Or should I say, habari za hasuburi. Yeah, karibu nyumbani kiwango. Twendi zetu kuja na mimi kula chakula. Kuvuta kiti, kachini. Unakaribishwa. Kumpumzika. Marafiki yangu. Yeah. Shout out to the chat. I said it all in Swahili. I told you good morning. I thanked you for coming in. I told you to come with me to get something to eat. Give me a cold glass of water. When I say cold glass of water, miji bariri, that means, yo, give me some love. Give me some respect. Give me my daps. You know what I mean? Miji bariri. Yeah. Miji bariri. There's cold glass of water. Miji bariri. Say it with me, children. Miji bariri. We can make a song out of it. Miji bariri. Or we could do it without the rolling of the tongue. Miji bariri. Shout out to the chat. All right, everyone. I'm out. Thank you for coming over. Good morning, everyone. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. Hope everyone has an awesome weekend. Take it easy with yourselves this weekend. I love you. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for coming in. Yo, shout out to Soulfly, Juicy Fruit, Mika, Uncle L, Tamika McCullough, Wrath, and Just Jay, aka Purple Heart Podcast. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Shout out to the people in the bushes. Shout out to my subscribers, my support team, my moderators, and my YouTube creators. Happy New Year to all of you. Thank you for coming in. I thank you from the bottom, the deepest part of my Cape Verdean heart. Yes. Shout out to the chat. We out. Peace. Peace, y'all. One.